an architectural monstrosity is frozen over the shimmering waters of the Dubai Marina. A 60-story luxury skyscraper, topped out at 204 meters, stands entirely empty. It was designed to be an ultra-luxury oasis, featuring 80 premium condominiums marketed to global elites with price tags ranging from $1.2 million to over $18 million for the sprawling penthouse. Buyers flooded the market. 71 of the 80 multi-million-dollar units sold instantly. Deposits worth tens of millions of dollars were wired into escrow. Then, the machinery went silent. Today, this half-finished concrete shell is trapped in a catastrophic engineering nightmare. Panels of the premium glass facade are visibly buckling and peeling away from the structure, exposing the raw interior to the blistering Arabian heat. Because this tower isn't just unfinished, it is actively shifting. It is swaying violently in the Persian Gulf winds and leaning measurably to the north, sinking directly into the unstable reclaimed coastal land. Locals and construction insiders have given it a chilling nickname, the Banana of Dubai Marina. It isn't just tilting like a classic architectural failure. The tower is physically bent. And the reason for this structural deformity is the single most shocking detail in the entire investigation. The bend was not a structural accident. The bend was a deliberate, desperate engineering gamble to correct a massive, unauthorized lean. It failed completely. This is the Marina failure file. The address is 161 Marina Promenade, also marketed to international investors as One Seaport Dubai. The developer, Horizon Property Group, acquired this premium waterfront parcel in 2013 for $64 million, projecting a massive condominium sellout value of $272 million. Instead, a single cost-cutting decision buried beneath the desert sand has transformed a $272 million asset into a multi-ton hazard leaning toward total collapse. The catastrophic failure of 161 Marina Promenade began deep underground, long before the first concrete pour or the arrival of the tower's towering cranes. In the Dubai Marina, building massive skyscrapers requires conquering highly unstable geology. The natural desert terrain transitions rapidly into heavily saturated, reclaimed coastal land along the Persian Gulf. Standard engineering protocols across downtown Dubai and the marina demand a precise non-negotiable technique. Driving heavy steel and concrete piles 50 feet down through the shifting, watery sand directly into solid bedrock. This anchors the tower's immense weight to the earth, eliminating the risk of uneven settlement. Every single megastructure surrounding One Seaport Dubai followed this exact blueprint. It is the absolute baseline for marine engineering. Except here, according to explosive legal filings, Horizon Property Group bypassed the bedrock mandate. To cut corners, the developer opted for a cheaper, highly controversial method known as jet grouting, or soil improvement. This technique pumps high-pressure chemical grout into the loose, saturated sand to artificially stiffen it, creating a synthetic, shallow crust rather than anchoring directly to bedrock. This single engineering pivot saved the developers roughly $6 million, a mere 2.2% of the total project cost. The original geotechnical consultancy, Gulf Geoengineering, had explicitly warned against this. Their written reports stated that only a pile-driven foundation into solid bedrock would guarantee negligible settlement. The developer ignored the warning. The cheaper route was built. By 2018, as the tower climbed past 40 stories, the laws of physics caught up. The massive weight of the raw concrete triggered severe, asymmetric soil failure. One corner of the shallow foundation mat began sinking deep into the compressed sand. As the base tilted, the error rippled upward. By the time construction reached the upper tiers, the tower was thrown completely out of plumb, leaning over 3 inches to the north. 3 inches might sound minor on a 204-meter tower, but in skyscraper engineering, plumb is life. Vertical elevator shafts must be perfectly straight to function. Rigid glass facade panels cannot bend. They require a perfectly vertical frame. When a tower tilts, structural anchors misalign. Structural loads shift dangerously, and multi-ton glass panels begin experiencing intense structural fatigue. Under the scorching desert sun, extreme heat expansion has begun warping these misaligned fixtures, creating a lethal hazard where heavy glass panels risk breaking free and plunging onto the crowded Marina boardwalk below. This structural deformity triggered one of the most reckless engineering improvisations in modern construction history, giving the building its permanent shape and its infamous nickname. Once surveyors discovered the 3-inch northern lean, project management made a desperate, undercover decision. Instead of halting construction to underpin the foundation, they ordered the remaining upper floors to be poured at a deliberate, opposing angle. The logic was dangerously simple. Lean the top of the tower back toward the south to counteract the bottom tilt, forcing the center of gravity back over the base. The result was a structural catastrophe. The building didn't straighten out. It warped today. One Seaport Dubai stands as a permanent monument to failed geometry. It bends one way at the foundation and curves back the other way at the summit, mimicking a classic banana shape. This is why standard engineering remediation is completely off the table. You cannot simply use massive hydraulic jacks to push a bent skyscraper back into plumb. The structural deformation is baked permanently into the reinforced concrete, floor by floor, slab by slab. The structural crisis deepens with every passing season. Massive engineering firms brought in to audit the site, including global giants like WSP, currently facing intense scrutiny for structural and facade issues across other international high-rises, have documented a terrifying reality. Independent assessments by firms like Thornton Tomasetti revealed that the northern tilt had actually worsened, drifting past 4 inches before the immense weight of interior fit-outs, heavy marble, plumbing, or occupants was even added. Senior structural engineers warned in writing that the tower was suffering from significant long-term concrete creep behavior. In plain terms, the building never stopped moving. A building that settles and stops can be stabilized, reinforced, and saved. A massive concrete tower that continues to creep, bend, and shift years after topping out is a dynamic threat. As the intense Arabian summer heat hits the exposed, uninsulated concrete cores, thermal expansion forces the warped structure to flex even further. The internal stresses are accumulating, and nobody can guarantee where the tower's final center of gravity will land. Behind the cold mathematics of structural failure lies a dark trail of human cost and operational negligence. As Horizon Property Group rushed to outrun the shifting foundation, safety protocols on the site completely disintegrated. In 2017, long before the public learned about the tower's severe lean, a construction laborer named Jianchanio plummeted to his death from the 29th floor. The tragedy blew the lid off the chaotic site. Municipal safety inspectors descended on the marina, uncovering a web of critical violations. The concrete subcontractor, Al Muafi's high-rise, was later hit with severe criminal negligence charges over separate, systemic safety failures across the site, resulting in heavy judicial penalties and mandated restitution. Local regulatory bodies issued multiple stop-work orders, freezing the cranes as safety concerns escalated. But the true terminal blow wouldn't come from safety inspectors. It came from the main contractor itself. Realizing the structural nightmare they had been handed, the international prime contractor, Pizzarati Emirates, abruptly halted all operations in 2019 and dragged Horizon Property Group into court. The contractor's lawsuit exposed everything. The building had suffered unprecedented, uneven settlement of up to 3 inches, throwing the entire tower out of plumb. Pizzarati demanded an immediate termination of their contract, stating flatly that the site was fundamentally unsafe for workers and would pose a permanent danger to future residents. They refused to risk their reputation, or human lives, on a foundation built on compromised sand. The developer retaliated instantly, launching an aggressive public relations counteroffensive. Horizon slammed the lawsuit as entirely fabricated, labeling it a defamatory attempt by the contractor to escape their operational obligations. They publicly insisted that independent engineering audits had deemed the tower completely secure, dismissively characterizing the structural crisis as a minor, easily rectifiable alignment issue. They fired Pizzarati and brought in a replacement contractor, Al Ryan Builders, tasked with a near-impossible engineering directive: redesign the multi-million-dollar glass curtain wall to mask the building's physical bend. The new crew managed to install a patchwork of exterior glass panels, trying to force straight lines onto a curved spine. It didn't work. By mid-2020, stress fractures began rippling through the newly installed facade. Fearing catastrophic shattering, crews scrambled to rip the glass panels back off the exterior, leaving the tower completely skinned, exposed, and abandoned to the elements. Today, One Seaport Dubai stands abandoned, a raw concrete skeleton exposed to the harsh Persian Gulf winds. Crucially, the heavy slosh stabilizers and dynamic-tuned mass dampers, designed to control the tower's sway during high wind events, were never installed on the upper floors. Without these systems, the bent 60-story tower absorbs the full kinetic force of the coastal winds, completely unprotected. Accelerating the fatigue on its already compromised foundation, the project is now hopelessly paralyzed in a labyrinth of high-stakes litigation involving ruined developers, bankrupt lenders, and 71 wealthy expatriate buyers whose multi-million-dollar deposits are completely trapped. Top structural engineers have delivered a brutal verdict: any physical attempt to rescue the tower, requiring extensive underpinning of the foundation directly into the bedrock while leveling a warped concrete spine, would easily cost a 9-figure sum. Spending over $100 million to patch a building with a total projected value of $272 million is a financial impossibility. Multiple engineering experts have concluded that the only realistic path forward is full demolition. However, imploding or dismantling a 60-story reinforced concrete skyscraper in the ultra-dense Dubai Marina, directly adjacent to functioning luxury towers and busy waterways, is an unprecedented, highly hazardous engineering nightmare. Nobody wants to touch it, and nobody is willing to pay for it. So it simply sits there, a towering 670-foot monument to a $6 million shortcut. The original recommendation from Gulf Geoengineering was completely clear, signed, and delivered long before ground was ever broken. The entire catastrophe, the irreversible lean, the banana curve, the structural creep, the legal warfare, and the millions in lost investor capital flows from a single decision to save just 2.2% on the foundation. The savings were minor. The cost was the entire tower.